Realty Rant is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Opinions are those of the speakers. No person, company, or entity is being singled out or accused. Hosts and affiliates are not responsible for actions based on this content.
Hey, Vincent Arcuri, Realty Rant. Want to talk today about how Zillow is stealing the buyers from your listing agent and nobody wants to talk about it. Well, guess what? We're going to talk about it today. Buckle your seatbelt. Let's go.
This is the Realty Rant with Vincent Arcuri. No fluff, no sugarcoating, no holding back. After decades in real estate, Vincent has seen it all. Tune in as he cuts through the noise to share the trends, tactics, and truths you won't hear anywhere else. The show starts now.
You know, I wanted to talk about something today that every real estate agent in America knows this is happening, but the average consumer has no clue that this is how our industry works. You know, every single real estate agent has what they call an IDX feed that's connected to local boards all around the country. So if you wanted to search for a property on my website, for example, it has every listing in the MLS that's available in our area, and agents or other agents and consumers, buyers that are looking to buy in the Tampa Bay area, they can certainly log on and see all the inventory. There's a huge difference between that and what Zillow is doing. And I'm not talking about, I'm picking on Zillow because they're the biggest, but you're talking Realtor.com, which is in no way affiliated with Realtors. That entity was sold decades ago. All these companies that you see, you, the consumer, are what we call a lead in the industry. So as a consumer, you go to Zillow because you feel comfortable, they're the biggest, and you're the most familiar with them. And you start clicking around and you find a property that you want to go see. And there's the agent, and it's the Zillow preferred agent, the Zillow local expert, or whatever they're calling them. And consumers assume that they're getting the listing agent on that property. Guys, you're getting an agent that's paying to play with Zillow. I know their preferred program, right now there's a big lawsuit. The same people that sued the National Association of Realtors a couple of years ago is now suing Zillow over these transparency issues. What are they not being transparent about? Well, what the lawsuit alleges is that Zillow is not being transparent with consumers on how their operation works as far as the money that's being paid to Zillow. Why should you even give a shit about this? Why do you even care as a consumer? I mean, you're going there, you get your information, you get the information on the property, and you're wondering, how is this even hurting me as a consumer? Well, I'm about to tell you. This is how it's hurting you as a consumer, is that you're assuming you're getting the listing agent, but instead you're getting the Zillow preferred agent, premier agent, local expert, whatever they call it. They could call it the Zillow unicorn badge, and every agent that's paying Zillow would become a unicorn agent. Guys, that's not a participate. That's basically a paid to play. That's not a merit badge at all. So now the consumer, you click a listing and you assume you're getting the listing agent. Well, you're not. You're getting an agent that's having to pay 40% of the commission. A lot of times, if you're a preferred agent, they're paying up to 40% of that commission that they earn on the deal back to Zillow, for Zillow simply connecting you with this local expert that's paying Zillow for the connection. Now, the listing agent is usually buried somewhere down there in the fine print. They do put it up there, but you have to look for it. But as an agent, you know, a lot of agents like myself, when a customer comes to me, we recently sold a property for $1.5 million. And, you know, the customer came directly to me. So that in that transaction, there was not another real estate agent involved. It made it a lot. We're not paying another agent. So the buyer got a really sweet deal by going directly to the listing agent. And that's happening more and more. But if the consumers are not really aware that they're not getting the listing agent, when you go to sites like Zillow and Realtor.com and these agents are paying to play, it could be a brand new agent that has absolutely no familiarity with your neighborhood. They may not even have ever sold a house, but they paid Zillow for that lead, and Zillow's given it to that agent that knows nothing about your neighborhood, nothing about your house, and you're probably in some of the least capable hands if you're interested in that home, in that community, in the amenities of that neighborhood. What's happening? Is there a interstate going through the middle of the community? That brand new agent's likely not going to know that. So you got to ask, as a consumer, does it really matter to you? Do you really even care? You start to look at, I know as an agent myself, I mean, I've got solutions on how Zillow could still exist and still be very profitable. I'm going to talk about that after the break. But as a consumer, do you really care? Do you care if the agent has zero experience or if the agent sold 100 houses in that neighborhood? I mean, I think to me, I would want to deal with a local expert that really has insights to what's happening with it. Are there any special assessments that are happening with the neighborhood? Because most lawsuits just fall from lack of disclosure, and the agents that don't disclose it, it's not that they're bad agents, it's just they just don't know, and they don't work at a company that they're being mentored by somebody that is guiding them through the steps to become a successful real estate agent. A lot of these 100% companies, example to a consumer, 100% means the agent gets to pay a small fee and keep 100% of their commission on the deal, but the brokerage doesn't put a lot of money into helping those agents become better realtors, and that's really bad for the consumers. I mean, what do you think? Am I just here ranting on my own? Is this something that doesn't really even bother consumers and it only bothers real estate agents like myself? I mean, feel free to comment and let me know what you think about it, but I've got some solutions that I'm going to talk about right after the break that could make Zillow a very, very lucrative model.
This episode of the Realty Rant is brought to you by TampaPad.com, your one-stop resource for all your real estate needs. Whether you're buying, selling, or just looking for expert advice, TampaPad.com has you covered. Now back to the show.
I want to talk about, Zillow has these programs that we talked about that where they compensate agents, and these agents are paying to play. But what if Zillow actually got those leads and handed you to the listing agent, and the listing agent had to pay, in order to get that lead, would have to pay Zillow the money instead of people randomly just paying money into Zillow as their model? I think the model, they really need to take a look at what's happening with AI, how AI is changing the industry, and really do something that's not I don't want to say misleading, but not being transparent with the consumers on who these agents are and what their experience is. Because I would want to know, if Zillow is picking my agent, I want to know that they're one of those true elite agents that are members of Zillow, that they do give to, as opposed to a brand new agent that might have just inherited a bunch of money and just bought a bunch of leads from Zillow. And let me tell you, some of the finest real estate agents that I know in America are Zillow agents, Zillow Flex agents, and I'm 100% confident that if you're working with any of those agents, you're in great hands. So certainly not saying the agents that are Zillow are bad agents, because like I said, some of the best agents that I know are there, but being transparent with the consumers and telling the consumers that, hey, this is one of our preferred agents and that there is a pay to play mechanism involved here, as opposed to going directly to the listing agent. So what do you do as a consumer? What are some of the biggest complaints that consumers have against Zillow? Well, some of the biggest complaints, if you went to Google or you went to ChatGPT and looked it up, some of the biggest complaints against Zillow are the Zestimate's wrong, outdated photos, the home sold months ago. And then talking about some of these programs that Zillow has, they have a less expensive program where you'll click on a property that you want to see and you get bombarded with multiple phone calls from different real estate agents, all who paid Zillow for your information. And those are some of the things that people are really upset with, because once again, they click that button. They think they're getting the listing agent. The listing agent knows about special assessments, or they should. The listing agent's going to have a little bit more of a background. Many times the listing agent lives in the neighborhood and has an intricate knowledge of what's happening in that neighborhood where you want to buy. You want to make sure that all that is disclosed. And the listing agent is usually the best source to start with. If you're a buyer looking in an area and you just want to kind of comb the city and see what's out there and what area you want to live in, that's great. But if you're zoning in on a specific home and you want the listing agent, be aware that in all likelihood, Zillow is not giving you the listing agent. When you hit talk to an agent, you're getting one of their paid to play partners. Well, that's just my opinion. It's Realty Rant. It's Vince Arcuri Realty Rant, so I get to rant about it. If you've got a differing opinion, feel free to comment. I promise you, I'm not deleting any comments on here. So if you disagree with me, this is an open forum to give a contradictory opinion or what you think would be a better remedy than what I've suggested. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Realty Rant.
That's it for this episode of the Realty Rant with your host, Vincent Arcuri. Thanks for listening. Subscribe now and follow on all social platforms so you never miss the real insights. And we'll see you next time on the Realty Rant.